Yeah, I own a dance group, performing group called the Cherry Bombs, and we're like a dance cirque type cabaret variety show that only performs to rock and metal music. It's the best way I can describe it. It's really something though that you have to kind of see to get. Even the videos don't really do it justice, but when you're there and you see it, you're like, ah, okay, I get it. So yeah, just it's a mishmash of a lot of acts, a lot of talents, all to the best music in the world. So
So why rock and roll? Why not like, hip hop or any of these other genres? It seems like you're really akin to like metal.
yeah, I've always been a rock and metal fan my whole life, and
Hmm.
it's just always been the music that's resonated with me. And but I was always a dancer my whole entire life too. So I think it's really I don't know. You just see a lot of dancers that couple their art with hip hop or with R&B or with pop music and stuff like that. So, which I like those that type of music. I cherish it, but just in a different way. So for me, I wanted to combine my two favorite things, which is dance and the music that I love, and then stick them together and see how that works. And so far, so good.
That's awesome. And I feel like that's a really interesting mix because I feel like when most people hear dance, they think of like, musical theater, hip hop, like Chris Brown style dancing. But for you, whenever it seems like when you think of dancing, when you hear like a rock song, are you like kind of jiving with it, thinking how you're gonna do the moves to it?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's seen our show or anything like that, they're gonna know that the show is it is very sexy. So the moves are, very, there's a lot of hair, there's a lot of hips, there's a lot of movement. It's really cool, but at the same time, too, I really wanted to keep it athletic. So my dancers and I are all professionally trained, and I felt that that was really important. I didn't want performers to just be up there, like nothing against twerking, but I wanted them to do something more difficult and harder. And I wanted our audience to be able to watch us and be like, I couldn't do that. And that's always been my goal, whether it's dance or whether it's the other more, dangerous art forms that we do.
Yeah, and so my roommate Nathan, who travels with you guys to
Yeah.
film, shout out to Nathan, you rock. Thanks for being my roommate and teaching me about film. But I've actually edited a couple videos for you guys, and it's just amazing what you guys can do. Like, so if you guys haven't seen their show, it's phenomenal. It's not like just dancing; it's like there's fire and they're sky high in the air doing all these crazy flips and everything. So, like, how did you think to do all that instead of just typical like moving your body, you incorporated uh like fire and like these sky dances?
Well, I'm definitely not the first one to come up with it. There have been groups before me, way before me. I mean, like decades before me doing this.
Hmm.
But all these other groups, and there's been groups after me too. But all these other groups that I had seen, there was something that was missing to me that I kind of wanted to do a little differently. I wanted it to be a true combination of the two, right? So I wanted mostly you see dance or groups like this that are heavily dance based, or you see groups like this that are heavily cirque based, so like the
Hmm.
aerial and the fire. But I never really saw a group that combined the two of them equally, in a way that they balanced each other out. So they were just as strong in one area as they were in the other. And so that's what I really wanted to create, so that everybody meaning the audience, got the best of both worlds. So that was something I really wanted to focus on. And I really wanted to hone in on my audience and select music that I felt that they would really like. So what we ended up doing was changing our show all the time, because we would play, gigs at like bike rallies. And so I would choose rock and metal music that I felt, the bikers would like more. Or when we went on tour with Buck Cherry and Blackstone Cherry, which isn't too far off of what we were originally doing, but I chose songs that were a little different for that. And then we went on tour Stone Sour. I flipped it and changed all the music to something I felt that audience would like. So it's been fun to kind of, manipulate the show in different ways to cater to what audience we're going to be in front of. And it keeps us on our toes too. So, and keeps things really interesting.
That's cool, and that sounds intimidating because like I feel like for you know, a band to, or like just a traveling band to be like, all right, guys, we're going to change up our set. That sounds intimidating. And let alone like dancing. Like, so how do you do that?
Well, it is. I'm thankful and very lucky that all of my performers are really professional and they know
Mhm.
everything that they do front to back. Because there have been many times where we've walked into a show and I'm like, oh shit, and we have to change it right then and there. I can't tell you how many times when we go on tour, when we're on a different city or a different venue at each stop, where we will walk into the venue and look at it, and it is something different than what was advanced, you know,
Mm.
prior to arriving there. So sometimes we walk into a venue and we're like, oh shit, we can't rig here like they said we could, or we can rig here like they said we couldn't. And so all of my performers are so amazing and so professional that I can be like, okay, guys, we're throwing this in, we're doing this. And they're like, all right, we got it. They're so well rehearsed. I mean, we used to rehearse 2 times a week, every week, year round, gig or not, didn't matter. And that's how dedicated everyone was. And it really kept us, you know, fresh and on top of it. And I could even flip the music like right when we got there and they'd be like, all right, we got it. And it's really rad to have that kind of commitment, you know?
What's the most like last minute change you've had so far?
Fuck. Honestly, okay, so our first tour was with Buckcherry and Black Century, our first actual national tour. And I remember calling their tour manager, Buckcherry's tour manager at the time, and being like, hi, my name is Alicia, and we're going to be touring with you guys. Just want to, you know, let you know what we are because we're kind of a different act. This is what we are and this is what we do. And I sent him some videos and he's like, what are you talking about? You have a show? And I was like, yeah, we have a show. And he's like, I thought you guys were just like gonna go dance like in between the bands to house music. And I was like,
What?
no. So he was like, I don't have any time for you. And I was like, okay. So I like let it simmer for a second. And I was like, okay, well, like, let's circle back in a week and game plan this. Cause there's already like 3 bands on the bill at the time. So first show day comes around and luckily it's in Atlanta, Georgia, up there at, what's that venue? 37 and 37. It's an old venue. I think it closed down. 37
The
Main.
the masquerade?
No.
Or
It's up in Alpharetta.
oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name
Okay.
though.
It was like a rock venue that popped up and I think it might be closed now.
Mhm.
But we had performed there before. And so they were really familiar with us, luckily. So the tour manager walks up to me and he's like, listen, you girls can have 5 minutes, you can have 10 minutes, or you can have 12 minutes and that's it. And I will be the one to tell you which set you're going to do on which day. And I was like, okay. You know, like when you're an opening act on a tour like that, you have to be flexible. You know, you're just thankful for the opportunity. So I was like, okay. So I like grab all the girls and we sit down in a booth in the venue and I'm like editing music really fast. And I'm like, okay, here's our 5-minute set and here's our 10-minute set and here's our 12-minute set and that's it. But we had a 30-minute show planned. And
Oh man.
I told the TM, I was like, okay, so he gave us a 5-minute set that day. And that was enough time to do 1 dance and 1 like really short fire eating routine because it was a smaller venue.
Mhm.
He was like, you can't do fire here. And I was like, yes, we can. Like we've advanced.
Part of our act.
It's part of our act. Yeah. And he was like, it's dangerous. And I was like, trust me. And the venue owners, luckily by the fucking, I don't know, the universe just aligned and they were like, we know the cherry bombs. They're good. Let them do their fire thing. They've done it here before. We trust them. So the team was like, okay. So it's our time to go up for a 5-minute set. and we go and we do the damn thing. And the TM comes up to me after and he's like, holy shit, I get it now. You're like Broadway. And I was like, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. He's like, I got it. We're going to help you. We're going to make this happen. So I was like, okay. So the next venue we get to was like in Washington, D.C. or something like that. and we could rig there. And we were like, yes, there's beautiful theater, super high, like 30-foot ceilings, I think it was. So my aerialist Connie was like, yeah, I get to hang. And the TM was like, no, you can't do aerial. You know, same thing. It's dangerous. And so it was like every show we had to prove ourselves, you know, and what we could do and what we were capable of to kind of earn our stripes, I guess, and earn the trust of people in this industry. And yeah, so I mean, it was a fight the whole way, but you know, being able to think on our feet like that, it's worth it, you know.